Identifying challenging negative beliefs begins with ourselves and the role that self-talk has in building or destroying our confidence. How do you talk to yourself? Do you talk to yourself? Of course you do. If you don't, that's a problem. I know a lot of people may not agree with that, but we ain't here for a lot of people. We was born alone. What they say, we're going to die alone. So why we care about what all these people think when all these people may not even be thinking of their own sound mind? And I'm here to tell you, if your mind is filled with fear, uncertainty, and doubt, if your mind is filled with criticism, that's no place for confidence to grow. This is why your garden is filled with weeds. Yet just like if your outside physical garden is filled with weeds, you can go pull them up. You can pull those weeds out and start to plant seeds within so that confidence can sprout and grow. And it is springtime is upon us. This is why we want to start cultivating and developing, because we just came through the winter, the darkness. Now, as we are going to the light and we're experiencing more light of the day, do you experience more light within yourself? Is your mind filled with fear, uncertainty, and doubt? And have you begun to root it out? What you say to yourself daily shapes your belief in yourself. And if you've been here before, then you know what I'm about to say. And if not, I'm going to introduce it to you for the first time. You are what you believe. So believe, inspired. To believe inspired is to be living inspired every day forever. Never stop prospering. It requires effort daily. I told you, I had to develop and I have to continue to develop myself. That's where this comes from. The fact that I have to every day put in the effort that's required. And because I do that, I live inspired. Not just yesterday, not just today, but every day. So if you stop right there, that is a lie, literally. It's a lie because LIE, live inspired every day. And it's a lie because most people don't believe it. Yet we embrace the lie because it becomes life. When we live inspired every day we do that turns into forever. It's not a game. Yet it is. And we play by our rules. And we have set the definition. Because before I was embracing the lie and I was living the lie, I was living a lie for real. I was walking around in self-doubt, saying I wasn't worthy. I was fearful. I was uncertain. And that's what I produced. When I began to embrace the lie, which is to live inspired every day, to take those steps to prosper, and we understand that prosperity is not financially, that's an end result. To prosper is you got up every single day and you continue to keep going, you prospering. You showing up for yourself, You're prospering. You're developing yourself. You're prospering. You went through sickness and in health. You're prospering. You fell down. You get up. You are prospering. I don't care if you fall down every day. You got up every day. To keep going is to prosper. So if we keep going, what did we have to do? Never stop. And only those that continue to stop, who don't want to keep going, those are the ones that's going to convince you that that's not true, that actually is a lie, that it's impossible, that losers don't inspire. They're going to use that word to demean you, and we are going to use that word, transmute it, and let it define us. And you're going to say, that's the person that you were calling the loser. Yes. And they're going to accept that because I am the biggest loser of all. Why? Because I love outreach and set expectations, rewarding self. I love when you tell me I can't do something because my whole life you've been telling me I couldn't do something and I was listening. And when I stopped listening to you, I actually started hearing God, and God said, I didn't tell you to be fearful. I didn't give you that. I gave you power. I gave you love. I gave you a sound mind. So what sound you are hearing in your mind is not God if it is devouring you, if it is destroying you. That's what man does. That's what society does. That's what the world may do. But we are here to change the world. Yet our world begins with ourselves. For let's go back one step. You yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserves your love and affection. So before you can give that love and affection to somebody else, have you given it to yourself? Or do you deprive yourself of it because you think you got to give it to somebody else? So I'm telling you, if you're doing that, you're not actually giving them love at all. You'll learn the lesson from that. I was there. I gave all of myself. I poured out my cup, didn't even refill it up. Here, take all of me because this is what they told me it was. And I was left with nothing. Nothing. Zero. You hit rock bottom and you said, help me up. And nobody was there. And it pissed you off. It hurt. You were confused. That's why we were lost, because our GPS location was attached to somebody else. Our belief was attached to somebody else or something else. We believe in nouns and pronouns, and we're missing the verbs and the adjectives. So when they left, so too did your world. It was over. The lights was off. You didn't know what to do. How am I going to make it to another day? Because that thing which I gave so much to is gone. And at that moment, you realize that you had to give it to yourself. And when you give it to yourself, nobody else can take it. You then decide to divvy it out. If my cup is half full, it's because I poured into someone else. And then I'm going to refill it up. Because remember, we are the bartender. This is what happens when we start to develop ourselves. You realize that my cup ain't half full or half empty. Stop asking, stop accepting questions that force you to choose one or the other when you are the answer. So somebody telling you, is your cup half empty or half full? You decide. It's half empty right now. Why? Because I decided to pour in somebody else's cup so I can make more room to pour in mine. If you have a filled cup, what are you going to do with that? If you're too afraid, because my cup is full, and now that it's full, I'm too afraid to lose, to pour it out. What if it spills and then I don't have any more? That's that fear, uncertainty, and doubt that ruled us before. Now, if I got a full cup, hey, excuse me, come here. I got too much in here. Can I pour this in yours? I seek to pour into others so that more can be poured in my cup. Whoever told you you couldn't get free refills? When they made the rules, they told you, nope, you got to pay for that. They don't make the rules. God does. So again, where are you at? Where are you at? Here comes one of my favorites. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Stop right there. Because it says, and be not conformed to this world. If we're conformed to this world, then I'm fearful because I think that this is it. This is all I ever get. Mm-mm. Be ye transformed by the renewing. Wait, renewing? What you mean? Renew. You ever been to the library and checked out a book and they said that book is due back on this day? You say, oh my God, what if I can't take it back on that day? Oh, you can renew it. I can renew it. What does that mean? We'll just check it out again in your name. What? Yeah, you can renew that. What? So if you can be transformed by the renewing of your mind, if we're not transformed, are we renewing our mind or are we stuck, staying the same? Oh man, you changed. You damn right I did. You damn right I did. Because if I was stuck staying the same, that's lame. And I would rather be a loser, somebody who loves outreaching, set expectations, rewarding myself, than a lame, somebody who's lazy, always making excuses for why they don't want to do what they need to do. See, this is what we're doing here. Oh, we're changing that. Because I'll be damned if my kids were going to go out into this world and have somebody call them a loser and now all of a sudden their world was over. Nope. Not what happened to me. It will not happen to you. This is my job as a father. This is my job as a friend. This is my job as a guide. It cannot happen to you because it happened to me. Yet if it happens to you, you allowed that. But if I'm around, oh, it ain't happening. You're not about to let that word devour you or destroy you. It's going to empower you. Because you know what? That person's a lame because they think that they can take away from you by using words. They think they can go, nah, 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 boo, boo. Man, get out of here. This is what it means when we say, at some point, we must do away with our childish things. At some point, I must stop allowing your words to affect me. That's what I did as a child. I ran home and I said, Mom, they made fun of me. And then my grandma looked at me and said, boy, if you don't get out my face, if you don't get out my face and go sit down somewhere, ain't nobody, man, look, listen, stop listening to what those kids outside is saying. Pay no attention to them. Go back outside and play. Now I was motivated. Now I said, okay, now I'm going to go back outside and I'm going to tell you what the. And as a child, that confidence is instilled in us. It should be. We should be shown what confidence is and how to develop it. So we should actually, as children, we should be shown how to reprogram our minds. We should be shown how to reprogram that negative self-talk by identifying the limiting belief. Where did it start? With the I'm not good enough. Where did that come from? Identify that limiting belief that you are not good enough. Where did that come from? Challenge that. Who told me this? Is that true? Because if I'm not good enough, then how did I make it this far? There's not a person in this world that does not succeed in something. Not one. Maybe you didn't know that. Maybe you didn't challenge the validity of your doubt to see that it was never valid. You just accepted it. Let's go back. What did Miss Roosevelt tell us? No one can make you feel inferior without your consent. If you accept that doubt, oh yeah, it's real. You accept that fear, you will be full of it. So once we identify this limiting belief and we challenge its validity, we got to replace it with something else. And if you don't have anything else to replace it with, this is why we give this to you. You can replace it with this acronym. If you think you're a loser, oh, that's okay. Challenge that. Where did that come from? What does that even mean? I'm a loser because I lost, because I failed, or they laughed at me and made fun of me. But what was they laughing at? Who was this person that was laughing? What gave them the authority? Their arrogance. So now that I challenge the validity and say, I'm a loser, what does that even mean? Okay, yeah, I love outreaching set expectations because you expected me to accept that. You expected me to be fearful, and I'm going to show you that I love outreaching that. I'm going to get over that. You expected me to be uncertain, and I love outreaching that. So I'm going to set a different expectation for myself and overcome that, and I will be rewarded for that. You expected me to doubt. And as I set my expectation and overcome that, I reward myself. And guess what happens to that bully? When every time you stand up to it, it goes away. Guess what happened to that monster that was under your bed when you decided to confront it? It went away. Guess what happens to fear when you stop, turn around, and say, I ain't afraid of you. Like Bernie Mac used to say. He had a comedy routine. He said, I ain't afraid of you. And it made his career. And I love that routine because it's real. I'm not afraid of you. When that happens, that bully, that monster, that fear, they disappear. That bully that seemed so big now looks so small and weak. So it's going to go and try and bully someone else. I remember my bully. I was on a school bus and I was raised by my grandmother. I mean, my grandmother raised like many grandmothers in this life. They raised multiple generations. And she raised me and my three brothers, all four of us, in her house. After her daughter passed, she decided, no, I'm not splitting these kids up. They all gonna live with me and I'm gonna raise them. She wasn't even working. She retired early due to a medical condition, yet she raised us all the same. Yep, had the same story as everybody. Grew up in the hood. We was poor. Lights went out. Sometimes we didn't have food. Sometimes we didn't have this. But we always always had love. And I didn't see that then, but I see it now. But because of our financial circumstances, hey, look, we didn't get the best clothes or shoes. And I remember these shoes I was wearing. We called them, it was like Newport Nikes, right? Because they had the upside down Nike sign, whoosh, upside down. And they were being sold on the street. And I remember to this day, it was like they had a pair of Nikes and they looked like Nikes. Then they had another pair that looked like Pippins. And like they looked nice, but they weren't Nikes. They weren't Nikes. Come on. And so we were on the bus and this guy, I believe I was in ninth grade. And he was like a senior or junior. He decided to make fun of me and pick on me. And he was in the back of the bus, and we all know, like, kids sit in the back of the bus, they all cool and too cool for school, right? So he decided to make fun of me. He was making fun of me, and I was an interesting child. If you ever seen WWE, which used to be WWF when I was growing up, there was a wrestler named The Undertaker. And why I say I was an interesting kid, because I was something like The Undertaker and The Ultimate Warrior. This is why. The Undertaker would get knocked down, right? And he would just lay on the ground. And then all of a sudden it'd be like, ding, and he'd sit up, right? And when he sat up, it would terrify people. And he would just get up. He wouldn't say anything. He would just get up. And all of a sudden he'd start kicking ass. The Ultimate Warrior would be getting beat up. And then all of a sudden the crowd would start cheering and that hand to come up and he started clotheslining everybody. He'd be like, dang, where all these people come from? It just seemed like an unlimited line of people. He just clothesline, boom, knocking everybody down. And he just had this strength, this resilience. That was like me because I was quiet. Because again, I was uncertain. I had buck teeth. I had glasses, a gap. I mean, come on now. I'm telling you this right now. And if you're seeing this video, you see it. I still have buck teeth and a gap, and that's going to be with me forever. I'm not fixing that. That is who I am. And I grew to love that. But if you a child with buck teeth and a gap, you guarantee they gonna pick on you. And I was skinny. Oh, goodness gracious. The trifecta. So again, I was quiet and I would get picked on. And so this day he was picking on me and I wasn't having it this day. I was hearing this stuff and he just kept going and I didn't even know why he was even talking about me. And then it felt as if that bell came on. It's like, doom. And now the Undertaker stood up. And I just had enough. And I stood up to him. And I started talking about him. And where I'm from, we call it gunning, heating, fire. I started firing his ass. Boy, brr, 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 brr. And all of a sudden, I start seeing this bully start to back up, start to shrink. And I start noticing things about him. I'm like, wait, you talking about my shoes? Look at your shirt. Look at this. Look at that. And it hit me. He's picking on me because to him, I represent someone lesser than. He's been picked on by other people. Now he sees me as somebody he can pick on. And I was accepting that until I didn't know more. That was the last time that person bullied me. Matter of fact, I didn't even see that person on the bus no more. And I found out later that, yeah, that person was getting picked on. That person came from a home that didn't have necessarily the love in it. He was being destroyed through words. And so he decided to destroy others through those same words. And it was words that then destroyed him, that brought him down to size. And in that moment, I felt good. Not because I destroyed somebody else, because I stood up for myself, because nobody else on the bus would. I stood up for myself. And that taught me a valuable lesson in that moment, that I was capable of standing up for myself when I chose to. Confidence begins with how we think, because it is our thoughts that affect us. Someone else's words can attribute to that, but it is our thoughts that affect us. And our thoughts affect what we project out into the world. The mind is everything. What you think, you become. The mind is everything. What you think, you become. Gautama Buddha. That's crazy when you think about it, that our self-perception determines our reality. I really thought it was them. I really thought it was my circumstances because I was born poor and I was going to be poor my whole life. If I accepted that. Because being poor, that's a circumstance. Because there are rich people who are very poor. Don't let that money fool you. Don't let the smooth taste fool you. There are a lot of people who got a lot of money, yet they are very poor. They are very fearful. They are uncertain. They are doubtful. Matter of fact, you can tell because they're surrounded by the most people. They need that because that's what feeds them. And when all those people are gone, when all those distractions are removed and they're by themselves, that's when we really see what you're made of. Or let's go back again. Reflection. Where is it? Let me find it. Excuse me, going through my notes. 1 second. The gem cannot be polished without friction, nor man perfected without trials. You avoid in the struggle. By avoiding the struggle, you're going to make it last forever and ever and ever. Because you can't avoid it. Eventually, it's going to catch up to you. So you might as well stop right now. Decide to look that fear in the face. Look at uncertainty and look at doubt and say, I ain't afraid of you. Jump at it. Watch it jump back. Oh. Watch it get scared of you. Stand up. Because it wasn't until I stood up that I recognized, damn, I was sitting down. I had got so used to it. Damn, I was sitting. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It's time to take a stand. It's time to take a stand. You notice you never hear it's time to give a stand. You have to take it. You got to stand up. The force that you're trying to apply to somebody else, apply it to yourself and take a stand. Command your life. Your worst enemy cannot harm you as much as your own unguarded thoughts. From the Dhammapada, Buddhist teaching. Again, here we go all across the world through every modality. And we pick out what serves us. Because I had to recognize something. God don't just exist here. What? This is what broke me free from religion. Religion had me thinking that you either got it or you don't. That God really came down here and said, I'm going to choose one people. I'm going to create a world for everybody, but I'm going to choose one people and give it to them and then punish everybody else. What the hell? That shit was ruining me. It's ruining things. That toxic mindset that says, oh, I got it and you can never get it. So we're going to persecute these people. Yet, how is it that you can go all across the world? Or how is it that when we decide to leave our world, to go elsewhere, to open and expand our mind, we start to see God is everywhere. You really believe that God is going to persecute a child in another country because he's not Christian, Muslim, Buddhist, Jewish? That's crazy. What type of God is that? What type of God do you serve then? For that is not God. Because again, everywhere you go, when you know, it says the same thing. I didn't give you that spirit of fear, but power and of love and of sound mind. God is love, not fear. So if God is love, then I can go everywhere and find this love. That's what this is. I'm going everywhere to find the love because I am not speaking to one person. Because I came from a group that they said you was inferior. They tried to tell me that. Do you know what that felt like as a child to sit in class and look around and they ask everybody else, oh, where are you from? And I got kids saying they was Jewish, German, Italian, one child. And I said, damn, how? Those groups don't even like each other. That didn't make sense to me that you could be so many different things, yet I was only one, and that was inferior. I came from a group that never was nothing, never would be nothing. Do you know what that felt like? Of course you don't, because you weren't in my body. Yet I guarantee it don't matter what race, creed, or color you are, you have been made to feel inferior. So then we are alike. We share a kinship. So I'll be damned if this color of my skin, this gender that I'm in, is going to define me when I exist outside of that. That wasn't love that they were giving. Yet when I went around the world, when I went to China, I received love. And I said, wait, what the hell? What's going on? Like I literally asked them, why are you looking at me like this? Because they would look at me and they would take pictures and I'm like, why do people look at me like that? He put his hand on my shoulder and he said, brother, you must understand. We don't see you every day. We hear about you, but we don't see you. So where you think that we're looking at you, and some people might because of their lack of understanding, normally those were elders who they had been through something themselves. But what I saw was there were plenty of people who they were just astonished. It was amazed. It was like I was a celebrity. Somebody told me they were like, you're like a god. What the hell you just say to me? Excuse me? Wait a minute. I had to humble myself because I went over there with a mindset or a thought, a perception that was given to me from something else. And I had to break that down in order to receive what they were given. Because when I first felt it, it felt like what I was experiencing here in America through my teachings. through the history that we must wash ourselves of. I thought they were being prejudiced and racist. And they said, And the only way I knew that is because I decided to ask. I decided to challenge that thought. You know what? Let me ask. And the moment that they said that to me, I started to see it differently. I started to see where people were looking in awe because when they look around, they never saw a 6 foot or 5'11". I like to give myself some inches sometimes. They never saw a confident Black man with dreads who had just happened to be muscular and handsome. No, yeah. Walking around. And that's what they were saying. They would like, oh my God, you're so handsome. Oh my God. They were telling me things that I had never heard. And I recognized that you can recognize that because I had to recognize that in me first. I grew up as a skinny kid with buck teeth and a gap that never thought I was handsome. And then one day I looked in the mirror and I was like, wait, what? Who is this person? I had to fall in love with my gap because my mama gave me that. My mama had a gap. And my mama was gorgeous. My grandma had buck teeth. And my grandma was beautiful. So if I'm looking at myself as less than, as ugly, what does that say about my ancestors? How dare I? Do you know what they went through for me to be here? So I'd be damned if I continue to destroy myself for the sake of somebody else. I'd be damned if I look down on myself to make you comfortable. Oh no, you about to be uncomfortable. Sorry, not sorry, because I'm beautiful. I'm strong. I'm confident. I am somebody. I'm a loser because I've lost and I've overcome that every single day. I live inspired because I have to wake up no matter what time I go to sleep. I got to wake up and get up out that bed and do something for me. And it was that which allowed me to be here to do something for someone else. Because I didn't think I was doing anything. And it is your comments, it is your DMs, your messages that tell me that I'm doing something that is helping somebody else. And the first person that told me that, I said, oh, that's it. It happened right here on Noon Vibe. It used to be a different platform, but it was in one of my first talks when I was just on here fearful, just talking. And a doctor came on and said, everything you're saying is right. This was PhD level. Psychologist. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not school trained. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a therapist. Yet they were telling me what you were saying was right. And you know where I got that from? It wasn't studying books. This was bestowed upon me at my lowest. When I had less belief in myself, here comes that voice. Here comes that light. That's where this came from. When I was thinking and I could do it myself, I was crashing. I was my worst enemy. So when I just, you know what? I just gave it up. You know what? I don't know what to do. The instructions came and I start speaking from my heart. And they was like, you right. How do you know this? Because I don't know. I don't know anything. I am no more capable than you are. These are the same things that we were taught by our spiritual leaders, by the ones we look up to, the prophets. This is what they told us. I can do no more than you can do. Anything I can do, you can do greater. You have to first believe. That belief is going to lead you to take action. That action is going to build that confidence through those small wins, because confidence is strengthened through action. So the fact that our confidence is being diminished because we ain't acting, or maybe we're not enacting, we are just acting. We acting like we ain't capable. We acting like we're fearful. We acting like we uncertain. So the Academy Award goes to you, the greatest actor that ever lived. Now it's time for you to play a different part. Just like one of my favorite actors, Sidney Poitier, Denzel Washington, Don Cheadle. This for me. You can play a different part. You can play a different role if you choose to, or you can accept being typecast and just being the same role over and over again. You can accept that if you want to. It's up to you. That is the beauty in the beast. We have the will. Will you or will you not? So let's finish this out. Because I told you, man, look, I apologize if I go overboard or if I'm long-winded. These videos be like an hour and a half. These talks are like an hour and a half, 2 hours. And I'm like, I gotta get this down to a certain time. Yet when it's rolling, it's rolling. I promise you, I have it scheduled to I'm gonna talk like this. And then that spirit get to going. So I can't apologize for that. So I'm working on it. There are times where we might get a little long-winded. We working on it. But when it's hot, a long wind feels good. I don't even know where that came from. But we're gonna roll with that. We're gonna roll with that. We're gonna roll with that. So again, let's finish this out. How to create small wins. 1, set some achievable goals. Start small. 1 step. Remember, to actually start running, it starts with 1 step. You're down, right? You ever seen, let's go back to the Olympics. We see this, one of the most popular events in the Olympics is the races, the sprints, 100 yards, 200 yards, 400 meters. It starts with every participant is down on the ground on their hands and knees with their head down. And it says, on your mark, get set. Then they raise up a little bit. And it says, go. And you begin to run with your head down and you start to lift up. And the more upright, that's when you're hitting full stride. Now they going. Yet when that gun sounds off, your first step is the most important. That triggers the second step. And if that first step is off, that second step may be off, but you can catch yourself. But it still takes 1 step at a time. I have yet to see a sprinter or even a long distance runner hop. They shoot and then they 2 feet at once. Now I've yet to see it. I've yet to see it. When that happens, hey, look, that's a whole new race. That's the sack race. That's the potato sack race. And if you ever seen a potato sack race, we see how clumsy that race can be, right? That's why it's actually fun. But again, it starts with that 1 foot. And again, you start with your head down. And as you rise up, that's when you're hitting full stride. That's when you're going. When they hit the finish line, what they do, stick that chest out. They stick their chest out. As you begin to set those achievable goals, the small goals, you begin to progress. And the more you keep going, you start hitting that stride. This is building that confidence. Now you poking that chest out. Unlike in those races, our finish line is continuous. See, a little secret is you're already living inspired every day forever. You just didn't know it. We ain't putting nothing into you. We pulling it out of you so you can realize this is what hit me. I thought I was creating something that is like you become that. You are that. We remove the blinder so you can see that. You have always been living inspired. You have always been prosperous because how you think you got here through sickness and in health. You may have one leg right now. You may have a debilitating disease right now. You may feel like everything is against you right now. That's because we choose to look at it like that. Reframe it. Because right now, no matter what your circumstances are, yesterday is gone and it ain't coming back. So what you went through got you to where you are now. What we do from here is going to determine us, not what we did before. That's just part of the story. Those are the trials and tribulations that add to that testament. And when we ready, we going to testify. Amen, my brother. That's all I'm doing. I'm testifying because I done made it there. So I put my right hand up and I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth because it was God that helped me. And so everything that I am doing is to pour out of my cup into yours until you begin to see that my cup is full and I can pour out of mine into someone else's. And then you begin to testify. That is what truly inspires. When we hear your story and we like, what? What? Dang. Here, I thought I done went through some. Man. This is why we always say there's always someone else. Yet don't focus on the negative. Hear what you're saying. You always say, this is what I've been through. Huh? Wait, what? This is what I went through. If you walk through the door, are you stuck in the door? No, you in the house. So if you went through that, are you stuck in that? No, you're not. You're on the other side. You went through it. Now let's get to it so we can begin to recognize that we are living inspired every day forever and we love this life. No matter what happens, it's still gonna keep going. It don't mean that we don't have trials and tribulations no more. No, we just equipped to get through them now. We don't focus on that. We pick out what we need from that and we keep going. We set achievable goals. We track the progress and we expand our comfort zones gradually. This is how we create small wins. That's going to happen. The thing that you got to do is keep going. That's the beauty. You keep going and you're going to see the progress. You're going to expand. If you stop, you're going to contract. Things going to close in on you. That's all that's happening. Faith without works is dead. Are you alive? Or are you dead? Faith without works is dead. James 2:26. You ain't here to be passive. You got to move. What affects us physically and why our health begins to deteriorate is because we stop being active. When our mind begins to deteriorate, we stop being active. When our spirit begins to deteriorate, or when it was at its lowest, the energy was at its lowest, it's because we stopped moving. You are here to be active, to experience, to express. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Lao Tzu. So in closing, confidence is a daily practice, not a final destination. Act, adjust, and grow into your strength. In the words of Martin Luther King, faith is taking the first step even when you don't see the whole staircase. Oh my God. Faith is taking the first step even when you don't see the whole staircase. I didn't see none of this coming. I don't even see what's tomorrow, but I'm taking this step today. That's all I can do. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't know when I put this on YouTube if anybody going to view it. I don't care. I don't even know that when I come on Noon Vibe, if anybody going to show up. I don't care. I take the first step anyway because I don't need permission to be confident. And you don't need permission to be confident. The more you act in alignment with your worth, the more you going to receive it. It's going to be natural, baby, because you are natural. So this week, the challenge that we have for this week is to take one intentional action that builds towards your confidence. Take one intentional action that builds towards your confidence. Even the smallest step forward is a step towards greatness. So just do one thing each day. What something that I'm doing each day is each day I have to go approach someone else new. And that's big for me because I ain't if you follow me on Instagram or TikTok or YouTube or well, basically TikTok and Instagram, mainly Instagram, you would know that I just posted that sometimes I get stuck in the fear and I don't approach opportunities. That's me. Is a little, was for sure. Because I'm moving through that as I acknowledge that, like, damn, sometimes I get so fearful, I don't even want to, I'm not even going to, I'm going to make an excuse for why not to. I'm going to justify why I'm going to stay in this position. And that's when you become uncomfortable. So do one thing today. I think this is the one thing you did today. You showed up here. So tomorrow, let's show up again for ourselves. Do one intentional thing tomorrow that's going to build your confidence. I thank you for being here. I thank you for never stop prospering, for giving that effort daily for yourself. You are true inspiration.